All right, let's just get straight to it. You're here because you want to be more consistent, right? But every single time you try, it feels like you're just slamming into a brick wall. So what if I told you that the thing you're chasing, consistency itself, is the very reason you keep failing? Okay, let's unpack that.
You already know this story because you've lived it 100 times. You get a new idea, a fresh goal. Maybe it's hitting the gym, finally starting that side hustle, or learning an instrument. The energy is there, it's electric, and you tell yourself, this time, it's going to be different.
And for a few days, you're on fire. Maybe even a full week if you're lucky. You're following the plan to a T. But then, well, life happens. You get tired, you get busy, that initial shiny excitement starts to fade, and then you stop. The momentum just evaporates. And you're right back at square one, feeling that same old familiar sting of disappointment.
And this right here, this is the moment where the frustration really kicks in, isn't it? You look at those abandoned plans and you ask that one single, painful question. You start blaming yourself. You think you're lazy, that you just don't have enough willpower. You're convinced the problem is your inability to stay consistent. But you're not just getting the wrong answer, you're asking the wrong question entirely.
Read that again. This one sentence changes the entire game. See, you've been treating consistency like it's the cause of your success. It's not. Consistency is the result. It's the output of a system you haven't even built yet. The real system, the input that you actually have control over, that's discipline. You've been trying to get the result without ever building the engine.
So to really get why this is so hard, we've got to look under the hood. We have to talk about your brain's default programming. This isn't about you having a character flaw, it's a design conflict. You're trying to run this sophisticated new software on hardware that was never, ever built for it.
You know that feeling when you have to physically force yourself to do something? That feeling of pushing through mental sludge just to get off the couch? Well, that's not you being lazy. That's a real neurological event. Neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman call it limbic friction. It's your brain pulling the emergency brake to keep you from doing anything that's hard, uncomfortable, or new. It's a survival mechanism, plain and simple.
You need to understand this. Your brain's factory settings are all about one thing: survival right now. It is hardwired to save energy. That means it naturally craves comfort. It looks for the quickest reward, the fastest dopamine hit. It's completely addicted to new, shiny things, not the slow, boring, repetitive work that mastery actually requires. So every time you try to build a long-term habit, you're literally fighting millions of years of evolution that is screaming at you to take the easy way out. And that's why relying on willpower alone is a guaranteed losing strategy. Willpower is just a battery, and it drains. Discipline is different. It's the system you build to outsmart these factory settings.
And this little chart right here perfectly lays out the battle you've been fighting. You've been betting everything on motivation, but motivation is just an emotion. It's a wave. It's unpredictable. It comes and it goes. Discipline, though, discipline is an anchor. It doesn't care how you feel. It's a system you design. It's a skill you build. And it's what holds you steady when the emotional storms inevitably show up.
This is the big idea from James Clear, the guy who wrote Atomic Habits. You don't win this game by trying to overpower your brain's programming with brute force. You are going to lose that fight every single time your willpower battery gets low. No. You win by being smarter. You win by designing an environment and a system where doing the right thing becomes the easiest, most automatic choice. You know, there's an old parable that just perfectly captures this whole idea. The difference between chasing immediate results and patiently building a real foundation. It's the story of the Chinese bamboo tree.
So, a farmer plants a bamboo seed. The first year, he waters it, he nurtures it, nothing. No sprout, no growth above the ground. The second year, same thing. Third year, fourth year, still nothing. His neighbors are probably thinking he's a fool, just wasting his time on this patch of empty dirt. But then, in the fifth year, something absolutely incredible happens. The bamboo shoot explodes from the ground, growing 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. So here's the question. Did the bamboo grow in 6 weeks, or did it grow for 5 years? See, for 4 years, all the real work was happening underground, building this massive, complex root system that nobody could see.
That farmer wasn't running on motivation. He couldn't be. There were no daily results to give him a little dopamine hit. He was operating on pure discipline, that quiet, patient, daily act of watering the ground, trusting the process even when there was zero visible proof. His actions were building the foundation. That explosive growth wasn't the goal. It was just the inevitable outcome of his disciplined system.
Okay, we've talked about the theory. Now let's talk about you. It's time for a little vibe check. And look, this might get a little uncomfortable, because the pattern we're talking about, it's not just some abstract idea. It's your life.
Let's just be blunt here. You let your feelings run the show. If you feel motivated, you work. If you feel tired, you quit. You are using your emotional state, literally the most unstable, unreliable part of your entire being, as the compass for your most important goals. Your entire life is based on an emotional weather report, and you're wondering why you can't seem to get anywhere.
And this is the direct results. The second you feel that limbic friction, that internal, I don't wanna, you stop. That discomfort is the signal that you are growing. It's the sign that you're building the root system, but you've been treating it like a stop sign. That moment of friction is the whole game, and you've been walking off the field every single time.
This is where the logic just completely falls apart. You want a consistent result, a fit body, a successful business, a mastered skill, but you're giving it fundamentally inconsistent input. You only show up when the mood strikes. That's like expecting a factory to churn out perfect cars when you only decide to turn the machines on, on sunny Tuesdays when the foreman feels good. It just doesn't work that way.
Okay, that was the hard part, the tough love. Now, let's talk about the solution. And this isn't about trying harder or finding more motivation. It's about taking that entire playbook, throwing it in the trash, and building an actual system. One based on design, not on feelings.
So here's the system. First, and this is the big one, stop waiting to feel like it. You have to accept that you will almost never feel like it. The action has to come before the feeling of motivation, not the other way around. Second, engineer your environment. Put your gym clothes out the night before. Delete the social media apps from your phone's home screen. You have to design your space so that discipline becomes the path of least resistance for your lazy brain. Third, you act on a schedule, not a feeling. Your workout isn't something you try to fit in. It is a non-negotiable appointment at 7 a.m. Put it in your calendar. Treat it like a meeting with your boss. Fourth, focus on just showing up, not on being perfect. A bad workout is infinitely better than skipping it. Why? Because every single time you show up, you cast a vote for your new identity. The goal isn't a perfect result today. The goal is to become the type of person who just follows through. And finally, number 5, start ridiculously small. The discipline it takes to make your bed every single morning, it builds the exact same neurological muscle you need to run a marathon. You have to master the tiny, non-negotiable disciplines first.
I want you to really let this one sink in. Your big, ambitious goals are completely worthless without a structure to support them. Because when life gets hard, when you're tired, when you're unmotivated, and you will be, you don't magically rise to the occasion. You will always fall back to the baseline of whatever system you've built. So the real question is, what system have you actually built for yourself?
So when you boil it all down, this whole thing comes down to one simple but powerful choice. Are you going to keep chasing the effect, or are you finally ready to start building the cause? This is the new model. This is the only thing you need to burn into your brain. Your input is daily, intentional, disciplined action. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to happen. When you control the input, the output, consistency, it just takes care of itself. It becomes the automatic, unavoidable result of the system you put in place.
So the last question is for you, and be honest with yourself. Look at your actions this past week. Have you been waiting for a feeling to strike, or have you been building a system? Are you chasing that quick flash of light, or are you quietly tending to the fire day in and day out? The choice has always been yours. The only difference is, now you know what the real choice is.